My guest at this time is no stranger to professional wrestling. She has performed all over the world, which includes stops in the WWE, AEW, TNA, and she is a former EMT, but she has one love of her life, and that's her 1973 Chevy Nova. Sorry, guys. Her mission in life is to break stereotypes surrounding women and muscle cars. Currently, you can catch her on 104.1 Monsters in the Morning for iHeart Media in Orlando, Florida. Let's welcome back to the show the lovely Miss Amber Nova. Amber.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I'm actually coming to you from the garage itself. You might hear some fast engines rolling by. I kind of hang out with a lot of fast-moving cars in the neighborhood as well. So I'm coming to you from the garage.
Okay, so I do believe that's a 73 Nova right behind you, correct?
Yes, it is. And I've never done an interview like this just in my garage showing off the car. So this is the first time for me. I want to do it. Sometimes the lighting's not always good, but yes, 73 Chevy Nova.
Nice. Very nice. How's the weather down there?
Oh, it's nice now. It was freezing cold in Florida. And for us Florida people, we got snow. You could, just 2 hours north of Orlando, there was 4 inches of snow. It was a phenomenon. Like, people were like, the world is ending. And
I hear you.
So we were pretty cold. Finally, this week, we got sunshine. It's warming up. Back to normal.
And here I am thinking 45 degrees is a heat wave after coming into 0 and minus 10 degrees last week. So, well, it is what it is. Now, Amber, can you believe it's been 3 years since we last connected?
Time flies.
Yeah, May of 2021, fresh off the pandemic. You came on WhattaDay. You were actually working with AEW at the time. You won a couple of their shows. What has Amber Nova been up to since then?
Oh my goodness. The last 3 years has been a lot. You know, I was wrestling with AEW quite a lot in 2021, and then 2022 was probably my last match with them. But in 2023, I won 3 women's championships.
Yeah.
In 2024, I had the Shine Wrestling Nova Championship.
Nice.
And it was already called Nova, so it was fitting that I go after a title with my name already on it. I had 1041 Real Radio, Monsters in the Morning create their own wrestling company, their own women's championship belt.
Nice.
Won that. And I also won the NGCW Amazon Queen Women's Championship. So I've been trying to rack titles in and get my experience. I went to Canada.
Sure.
I wrestled in Montreal, Canada for Jacques Rougeau.
Oh, Jacques, yeah.
Hulk Hogan recently. I've done a couple things. I'm just a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, I saw you with the Real American Bear and the Hulkster a couple of weeks ago. That was kind of neat.
That was in November.
Yeah, but wow, why is it? It feels like it was just yesterday. I mean, time is flying. It's definitely an overdrive, no pun intended there. So I've seen on your social media, you've done some modeling, correct?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's good. You know, obviously pro wrestling is my main passion, my main focus, but modeling as well is just, I love to model.
Right.
I do convention modeling. I do runway modeling for my girlfriend that's a fashion designer. So I'll take gigs wherever I can get them. Okay. But wrestling is, always my number one. And then the radio station as well.
Right. Now, I've come from the land of radio and so forth. How did you land the iHeart Media gig?
Funny story. I met Russ Rollins.
It always is, right?
Yeah. It's a great story. So I was pretty new in wrestling, 2017. I had just really started wrestling, had my couple first matches at like Impact Wrestling.
Right.
And Russ Rollins, for anyone that doesn't know who that is, he's been on air, one of the number one Orlando radio station for 30 years. Sure. 1041 is, Monsters in the Morning has been the number one radio talk station for 30 plus years. He tag teamed with Dusty Rhodes, Mark Marrow, Jeff Jarrett. He worked, at TNA. He had big wrestling matches with Dusty Rhodes in Orlando in the early 2000s.
Wow.
So he dabbled in wrestling as well. Wrestling was always a dream of his. He got to work with his favorite wrestler of all time, Dusty Rhodes. So I met him at a wrestling show. And then he invited me onto the radio station as a guest whenever I wanted, every now and then, to plug my wrestling shows. And in the last 2 years, we really started working together a lot, and to the point where last year they hired me as an official iHeart Media member. That's
amazing. I see on social media all the time. I mean, Orlando, top 10 market, no doubt about it. But the way, just like everything's streaming now, iHeart Radio is right up there with listeners and all that good stuff. Now, when we last spoke, the state of women's wrestling was actually soaring to newer heights. Now, since then, it's really picked up a few more notches, no doubt about it. What are your thoughts right now on the current state of women's wrestling, not just in the WWE, but all over?
Honestly, women's wrestling, since I really started to pursue it myself, and I'm going to go back to like 2013.
Okay.
I saw Carmella, Bailey, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, all coming up at NXT at the WWE Performance Center. And I was an EMT back then. I lived in South Carolina. And then a couple years later, I finally decided I'm going to move to Orlando and pursue this because these women inspire me. And honestly, the women's wrestling has been a revolution for years. This is not something new, and people are realizing it when we're main eventing and changing the game. And I myself believe I'm a revolution, but on wheels.
Oh, good tie-in there. Gotta love it. Now, you're talking about names like Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky, Alexa, the four horsewomen of that generation. Yeah. Can you believe since 2013 till now, there's like another wave of talent? We're talking Stephanie Vakir, we're talking Julia, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, obviously Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks. She switched teams and all that stuff. What do you think of that newer generation now that's coming up? Because they've really, social media wasn't that, it was relevant back then, but now they take it to new heights with all the social media. What do you think of that?
I'm all for it. Every woman has their own style, their own unique character, and I'm all about character. What makes this girl special? What makes this girl different? Me, it's the mechanic, the car background. Sure. It's a little bit more drive. It's something different. Everyone has that, and I like to see all these other girls that have something different about them. Not just another girl in a different colored gear wrestling. What is so special? There's a backstory. There's how they make you feel. And I love watching all the women that are coming up. More the merrier.
What I think is great is even to this day, your character, which really, you can't call it a character because your love for cars is genuine.
It's my identity. Yeah.
Your identity. And there's nobody else out there. I know we talked about this a few years ago. There's nobody else with that gimmick. There is no, what was it? Molly Holly had some type of gimmick like that with Sparkplug and all that back in the day. But since then,
love her. Yeah, I've had
there's been nobody. You can't, when you think of Aaron Bernova, you already know what you're talking about. You're talking about cars, Chevy Nova, all that stuff. So that's kind of unique. So you have a good niche there with everything. As pro wrestling evolves and new talents being showcased almost daily, are there any particular women that you right now would like to step in the ring with?
Oh, any women that I would love to step in the ring with. Charlotte, absolutely. Charlotte, the best of the best. Woo! Yeah. I can't wait to see her come back. Speaking of which, waiting on her big return, the Royal Rumble. There's plenty of women out there. Jordan Grace, absolutely. Who's
making her debut most likely this weekend's Royal Rumble as well.
Yeah, I think so. Especially with WWE NXT partnering with TNA and having the talent now go to each other's brands. I really like that. I love that.
I was going to ask you about that. The WWE TNA partnership. What do you think of that? Good for wrestling?
Absolutely. You're opening more doors for more talent and more people to be seen. I think it's good for the wrestlers. I absolutely love it. It's more opportunity. Like I said, I would love to go back to AEW, do a match there. I'd love to go back to do Impact Wrestling or WWE. I'd love to show them how much I have truly evolved in the last few years that they have not seen.
Right. I'm sure Tony Khan would take another look at Amber Nova. I'd love to see you in the ring with
It's been a few years, and I've crafted some skills since then.
And of course, you get better and educated every year as we're on this earth. What's even better is I have a vision of you taking on Tony Storm somewhere down the line.
Oh, I absolutely love Tony Storm. Don't get me wrong. Just because I didn't ramble off 20 names and dream matches.
Oh, I know there's a lot.
Tony Storm is that's what I mean by character. She's an amazing character as well.
All right, so who are you most impressed with right now at the moment, both male and female? What athletes right now stand out in your mind when you think of pro wrestling and what's going on right now? What are some of the big names that pop into your brain, whether it's male or female right now?
Female is going to have to be Mercedes Moné. My dream is to go to Japan and wrestle in Stardom.
Oh, nice.
I would really like to work with Stardom. 2025 might be my year to do that.
There you go.
I just love seeing her journey, how far she's come, all the things she's changed. And I absolutely am inspired by her. That would be a dream match. And for a male wrestler that I'm very impressed with, I mean, I have to say LA Knight.
Really?
You know, this guy has been in the business for a very long time. He's been told no, you know, more times than most people have even tried. And I think that is so respectable, because what people don't realize is going after a big dream, going after the top is extremely brave, and it takes a lot of courage. I know that for myself, for moving and trying all of this on my own. So, you know, he's been in the business a long time. And like I said, he was told no more times than most people would even try. And look at him now. He is at the top. And I absolutely love his promo skills and his character. Oh, yeah. Maybe it's because he's got that rock and roll, you know, that classic car kind of vibe that I like. So, as well as like MJF, I'm always just speechless when he's on a microphone. He's just a genius. He's a genius. I mean, he's an asshole. He's a genius.
Well, he plays his role very well. So, I mean, of course, I've seen him at meet and greets as well, and he takes it right to them. So
that's what I love about his character. I just love that character. That's what I was saying about all the different women having a different character. Like me, my style, it's a different character. Right.
And LA Knight, of course, just signed another 5-year deal with the WWE. So we'll be seeing LA Knight for a while, which is great. He's on the SmackDown brand, but I'm sure it's just a matter of time before he makes his way over to Netflix in the Raw brand. And speaking of Raw, with WWE Monday Night Raw now streaming on Netflix, I have to ask you, do you have any binge-worthy shows that you love, recommend? What are your go-to faves on Netflix?
Honestly, I am so busy that if I'm not watching wrestling and catching up with wrestling, and the best thing is now wrestling, you don't have to worry about like the DVR and all this other stuff. Like the days of clicking the channel, changing the channel, they're gone. Oh yeah. And WWE made such a smart move of going to Netflix. So if it's not wrestling, which it usually is, I absolutely love like Saturday Night Live. I like a comedy show. I like thrillers. I really like thriller shows. Like I know a show that's coming back in the next month or two is You on Netflix. Okay. It's one of those typical like, oh, a girl loves to watch a murder documentary, but it's really like psychology and thriller. So You would be it.
Right. Now the funny shows, what funny shows do you like?
Oh, and Practical Jokers.
Oh, that type of stuff. Okay.
Those guys are great. I like comedy like that, like goofy shows, playing pranks. I like stuff that makes you laugh, enjoy life a little bit. I don't really watch TV that much, so I'm just trying to think of some things. You know, I really like Bar Rescue because I am a certified bartender. So I really like John Taffer's Bar Rescue because I did go to school and I'm a certified bartender as well.
That's right. You told us that before. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. When I left being an EMT, you know, an EMT's paramedics, firemen, they do not make enough money, and it is just crazy how that is. Right. And I could not make 24-hour shifts on an ambulance working for $12 an hour, $10 an hour, make it in Orlando while pursuing my wrestling career. And I picked up bartending, went to bartending school, bartended in Disney Springs, and then that picked up, modeling picked up, and professional wrestling. You
are a jack of all trades, or Mrs. Jack of all trades, master of none. Let's put it that way.
I like to say, don't limit yourself in life.
Sure.
You know,
that's great.
Don't limit yourself in life. And like I said, I've probably failed more times than most people have even tried. So I'd rather try than never know.
That's great. That's great. Now, before we wrap up, what does the future hold for Amber Nova? What's coming up in Amber's world?
So what's coming up? This Sunday, I will be in Tampa, Florida for NWA live TV tapings. I'm very excited about that. So NWALiveEvents.com. People can get tickets. This might not air until after we've already filmed. But for future reference, yes, I will be in Tampa this Sunday, NWA live TV tapings. It'll be my debut with the NWA as well. They did make me a graphic that I'm scheduled to appear, so I have been announced.
Oh,
And
nice.
card is always subject to change. I don't know who the hell I'm stepping in that ring with,
Ooh.
but sure enough, that girl is going to get her ass tuned up by the mechanic.
Oh, fighting words there from Amber Nova, making her debut with NWA this weekend. Not sure of the air date, but we'll keep ties to that.
Yes.
So fans can get a hold of you and follow you. Let them know your social media handles.
Yes, all my social media, hit me up on any social media platform, is Amber Nova 73.
Oh, nice. There you go. Well, Amber, it's always a pleasure catching up with you. We wish you nothing but continued success. It's a pleasure talking with you today, and we'll definitely see you down the road. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.